Hello.
Hi.
We got wild card weekend.
Woo!
6 games, not 16.
Mm-mm.
And some interesting storylines shaping up. So let's get to it.
Do it.
So we have 6 games, 2 Saturday,
Mhm.
3 Sunday, and 1 Monday.
Which is love that Monday game.
Yeah, which is perfect. You get a night game 3 days in a row.
Yeah.
You get multiple games on the weekend, and then
It's like Christmas all over again, kind of.
yeah. All right. So the first game is Saturday at 3:30 Central. It is the Browns with the better record, but they're the wild card traveling to Houston to play the Texans. So Houston gets a home game even though they have a worse record.
Division winner.
I-
Surprising division
Yeah.
winner.
Yeah. And the Jags are out
Gone completely. So Peterson's still safe, apparently. Not fired.
till now. Yeah.
Right. Up until, what is this, Thursday morning?
Yeah.
Still there.
All right. I have the Browns at the Texans. I have the Browns by 1.5.
I also have the Browns favored and the Browns favored by 2.5. Or giving 2.5.
I think you nailed it. Let's see what it says here. 2.5. It opened at 2.5 and it is stuck at 2.5.
Yes.
So
Browns on the road. So I think a couple of weeks ago, I said, I think the Browns could beat the Ravens and get to the Super Bowl. And I still feel that way. But part of me now also feels like they're going to lose to the Texans this week. And I think that's just pure CJ Stroud magic. I think he's the real deal. I mean, clearly, as a rookie, he made it to the playoffs, won the division as a rookie. And I know it was on the last minute, but they were in it pretty much the whole season. Yeah, I think I would take the Texans in the points here. I think I see an outright win. But man, the Browns ride has been pretty incredible. Saves Stefanski's job, that's for sure.
yeah. So this is a rematch from I don't know, a month ago or so, I think. But Stroud had that concussion against maybe the Jets, and then he was out. So he did not play against the Browns. So I don't know if there's something to be said about them not seeing him. Like he didn't play that game, so that maybe that's an advantage to the Texans. I believe that
It was Christmas Eve they played.
okay. And so the Flacco did play that game, so the Texans have seen him once. I think that game was in Houston as well. So I mean, you got.
And they got
don't
good
know.
quarterback play out of their backups.
I don't know what I mean. I think the Browns are clearly the better team, which is why they're favored even on the road. Like you nailed it. I was, like more than Browns favored on the road, not quite a field goal. It's kind of like should be a competitive playoff game. I mean, the Browns got slaughtered last week because they rested their starters, but that defense you got to think is going to be flying around the field. So this is a tough one for me. I don't really know what to think.
I mean, I think it comes down to, is Flacco going to continue to play like one of the 2 best quarterbacks in the league or not? Like, is he going to throw for 300 yards and like 4 touchdowns?
Right.
Because if so, then the Texans are probably going to lose. And I think just if you look at it face value, you're going to no, of course not. Joe Flacco in 2024 is not going to throw for 4 touchdowns and 300 yards. But the last 7 weeks of the season kind of counter that. I think this really rides on the performance of Joe Flacco to me.
Right. And obviously you'd think he's going to be unfazed by like playoff nerves or anything like that.
Yes.
So Stroud didn't really play like a rookie. So is he going to not really play like a rookie in the playoffs either?
No.
I mean, the first half of this game, I think we're going to find out a lot. Like if the Browns are just clearly the better team, or if this is going to be a nail biter. But spread's 2.5. So I mean, you'd think it's going to be a competitive game. Yeah. Basically, pick your winner.
And what like a great matchup. Like 2 years ago, would you have said, "Oh man, I can't wait for Browns Texans in the playoffs"?
Right. Yeah. No kidding. And I've said a couple times selfishly that I wanted the Texans to make the playoffs over the Colts and the Jaguars, just because Stroud is dynamic and just makes. I mean, some of the
Yeah.
throws he made last week were ridiculous. I mean,
That opening touchdown.
it was the first time this season that the opening play for a team on offense went for a touchdown.
I was like, that's crazy.
Like, I'm a Vikings fan, right? So when Randy Moss came into the league, it seemed like they were throwing it deep on the first play of the game, like once a month. Like, you just don't see teams go deep like that anymore.
Really don't.
And it was like
really
right before they announced that stat, I was just saying to who, I don't know who I was saying to. I was like teams used to do this all the time. They just don't throw it deep, and then they're like, "This is the first time the first play of the game went for a touchdown for any team this season." I'm like, okay, that makes a lot of sense.
That is it does make sense. It's weird. I remember, I think, if I remember this correctly, Matt Ryan's first throw as a professional was a touchdown like that. His first ever toss was a touchdown
to Julio.
No, I mean, this would have been when Matt Ryan came out of was a rookie in Atlanta.
Oh, was Julio
probably no?
Was Julio after him? I mean,
yeah. I think so. I think Julio was like the mid 2010s, maybe the early around 2012. But Ryan came in like 08, 09.
Okay.
Something only an old guy like me would.
I'm bad with when guys came into the league. I mean, some guys that are like my age, I kind of know, but it's tough. All right, we got one down, 5 to go. So this will be Saturday evening. We have a rematch again. Dolphins at the Chiefs. So these two teams played in Germany in a weird, the Chiefs, I think, got up 21-0 and then didn't score in the second half, and it ended up like 21-14. Tua fumbled on like the Chiefs 20-yard line to end the game. So it was a really weird game.
It sounds like that. That feels to me too that's not like the first time you could say that about the Chiefs this year, where they scored and then didn't score after halftime and somehow managed to win.
Right.
I feel like it's happened at least one more time.
Yeah, they've been an enigma for sure. So this one, the last one was technically the Chiefs' home game, but like I said, it was in Germany. This is actually at Arrowhead, and it's supposed to be like 11 degrees at game time. So it's going to be cold, which is interesting because Miami plays all these home games and it's 70, 80, 90, 100 degrees. Now you get to the playoffs and it's just like a totally different ball game.
The ball will literally be different. It'll feel different.
Right. Does Tua have small hands?
He does. He's not. Was it Kenny Pickett? Is he the guy on the Steelers who had the smallest hands ever in the history of the draft?
Was it?
Yes. Like, sadly for him, yes.
And now they're like, dude, we just realized your hands are too small. Rudolph is going to save the day.
That's not Tomlin. Okay, get the hands out of the way. Like, you had the best quarterback on your bench the entire season. I'm not saying he's good, but the best guy was your third stringer the whole season. You couldn't figure that out.
Yeah. Flip flop the depth chart. Get the right guy in there.
It's his job.
Okay, so I just went Chiefs at home by 3.
Got him by 3.5. A little bit off of that. Yeah, that 3 points.
All right, I think you get that. I think it's it opened at 3.5. Wow.
4.5.
Opened at 3.5. It's up to 4.5. And there's a 5 in there.
I'll be honest. I mean, maybe this is the cold. This has to be the cold.
Definitely,
right?
That's part of it.
I would think.
There's some stat. I don't even know what it said. Something about the Dolphins and like the coldest game they've played this year, blah, 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 was this temperature, and this game's going to be 30 degrees colder or something like that. So, I mean,
the question is, whose running game do you like better?
Well, I don't know. So Chan and Mostert, I think, are both going to be.
Is he healthy? Is Mostert healthy? Because he wasn't, right, last week?
So here's what I read. So I don't know if Mostert's going to play. I think he's going to play because he didn't play last week, but I think he's going to be good enough to play. And then Chan was questionable last week, but played, and I don't think he made his injuries worse. So they should have both running backs. And then, Jeff Wilson, I think, is their third stringer who is decent for a third string. Like, they could mix him in there too. But I don't know. I guess Tua in the cold is really the question mark. Obviously, you wouldn't expect Mahomes to have any issues there. But then you got the Chiefs with just like a defunct offense sometimes. Like
Broken.
this is, I mean, the line tells me to take the Chiefs because it's higher than I thought, and it seems like it keeps going up. And some part of me still thinks the Chiefs are going to figure it out, even though they haven't really shown that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I think like, I don't know.
I like the run game here. And I think I like Miami's run game more than I like the Chiefs' run game. I don't know how that translates to a win for them this weekend, given how cold it's going to be. Everything's kind of going to suck, but I think I like Miami here. Certainly to cover.
Yeah, and
I don't know, but maybe to win outright. Just
really,
I think it's going to come down to the run game, and I think Miami's. They certainly have more options, right? Like if you look at the depth of their running game, I think they've got the better running backs. I mean, where do you even put Pacheco? Like, is he?
I think Pacheco's really good. I mean, I think part of it is Miami. Miami stretch it. They run so many like stretch runs.
They do a lot of weird stuff. Yeah.
So I think they just have a really good scheme for what they do, and they like have linemen who are very mobile and can get out. But you know, Pacheco and Allaire and McKinnon. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Let's swap the running backs from the two teams and see.
Ooh, I like that as a thought experiment. I'm definitely picking the Chiefs then. Like Mostert, like provided he's healthy, and Mahomes, man, dude, that seems pretty good.
So you said you think maybe the Dolphins win this game, which obviously anything's possible. I just wonder. So the Dolphins made the playoffs last year, right? But they lost.
Yes, I think that's true.
Do you remember who they lost to?
I have no idea.
So I just wonder, like, Mahomes in the playoffs versus a team that hasn't won in the playoffs for I don't know how long, a long time. Certainly with most of the current players. I don't know. What I just think the Chiefs win,
Bills,
even if it's close. Okay, so Bills beat the Dolphins last year in the playoffs by 3. So I don't know. I guess I don't know what to think. I think I'm just going to enjoy the game.
Good game, hopefully.
And just be really excited that like the Panthers and Falcons and the Patriots and some of these teams just aren't playing this week.
Over under quickly. What do you think? What do you put the over under? Dolphins Chiefs.
On the game total?
Yeah, game total, over under.
I mean, it's cold. I have no idea. Like,
did you put it at 25?
No, because both teams can run it up run up the score. I don't know. If the ball slips out of Tua's hands every single time he tries to throw it.
Well, that would be not good for the Dolphins.
Then they're not going to be able to move the ball.
Is hand shrinkage a thing? Is that like a thing? Like it gets really cold and your hand shrink like other stuff?
I'm sure.
Tua. Get some hand warmers, buddy.
All right.
Does Tua have? Is that a thing? I've never heard that. Like other people have small hands. Does Tua have small hands? I haven't heard of that.
No, I don't. Well, look it up. If Tua's hands are below league average,
the
Chiefs will win.
Oh, interesting. Okay, you've heard it here for a first, folks.
All right, let's go on. We have so this would be Sunday at noon. We have the Steelers at the Bills. I have the Bills by 8.5.
I have the Bills by 7.
Okay.
I think I underbid this and the Cowboys game.
All right. This opened at 10 and it is 10.
Yes.
Okay, so obviously the Bills are a better team that's playing better, that has their starting quarterback, that isn't missing they had a lot of injuries on defense earlier in the year, and a lot of those guys are still out. But what I'm trying to say is TJ Watt is not playing. I'm almost positive. He had a MCL sprain. It looked really bad. Like I thought he tore something. They basically said best case scenario, but he's still at least out a week. So
have 19 sacks this season, something like that again.
Yeah, a lot. He's had, if you look at his stats, he's got some crazy. Yeah, I mean,
I think he's one of the only 3 people in the league ever to have like 3 successive seasons of like whatever 19 plus sacks.
Yeah, I did see that.
Something like that. Incredible.
So, I mean, it makes sense that the for all the reasons I just said, like, I don't know anyone who's like, no, I got to beat on this. The Steelers are going to win this game. You know, like it's the Bills. It's the Bills by a lot. It is a playoff
People
game.
love the Bills right now. Love
Yeah.
the Bills. People are like Super Bowl Bills.
Yeah, I mean it's a playoff game, so like sometimes these teams that have no business winning keep it close. I don't know if that's going to happen here. I think it might, just because it seems like everything is going the Bills' way. I don't know though. It's a fair line. Like I had more than a touchdown, and it's 10. It's not quite 2 touchdowns.
Plus, the Steelers' offense has kind of sucked all year. They've been through coordinators. They've been through quarterbacks. I mean, this is another example of what we would call a really good coach who has problems figuring out the quarterback position.
Yeah.
With Tomlin. And so who knows? And, Josh Allen is clearly the better quarterback. Clearly. And I think this is something too, was it ESPN, the Ringer, one of them, that was like threw up a graphic when the Bills met the Eagles. The Bills were 6-6 and they were doing really poorly. The Eagles were 10-1 and they ended up with the same record.
The Bills won out and the Eagles lost every game.
The Eagles went 1-5.
Huh.
They went from 10-1 to 11-5. They finished 1-5. Now they won that game. They won the meeting in the overtime because it was very competitive. But the Eagles went on to lose their division, and the Bills went on to win the division. It's a really this season has been terrific. Just like a lot of interesting things happening.
Yeah.
With position and teams.
So the one thing I'll say about like what the Steelers' game plan should be, I'm pretty sure the Bills' run defense isn't great.
Mm-hmm.
And so you've got Harris and you've got Warren. We should check the weather for Buffalo too.
Oh.
Like it seems like the whole country is like going into a freeze.
Yeah.
You should pull that up. But that's one thing you could say for the Steelers is like they feel like they can run the ball.
Sunday game?
Saturday. Sunday at noon.
Sunday at noon.
They probably feel like they can run the ball if they can like run the ball, mix in some passes, and just kind of control the, like time of possession. I think that's what they're going to want to do. Obviously, you don't want to give the Bills 100 plays because you're not going to win that game. And they might have trouble slowing the Bills down. So the one way to slow them down is to keep the ball. But that's something to watch. Like if Harris and Warren can have success on the ground, then I think they can stay in the game. But I don't know.
It's gonna be cold, 26 degrees.
Snow?
No snow, clear but windy.
Whoa! So no 6 feet of snow for the Bills Steelers Bowl. All right,
both cold weather teams, but yeah, I like the Bills here too.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the Steelers. I think the Steelers to cover 10 just because it's a playoff game. It's a lot, and they might be able to figure out some matchups. And then, like I've said this before, right? If the Steelers come out and they can have a good drive on the first drive and they get up 3-0, 7-0, then it's 2 or 3 scores for the Bills to cover that. It can end up being a lot.
I mean, this feels like a 2017 game to me.
Yeah.
Bills on top.
Like the year 2017.
Yes, exactly like the year 2017, in fact. But I think a realistic over-under here is something like 40. Like I probably wouldn't stay away from, if it was like 45, I might take the under.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean the Steelers probably aren't expected to score many points, and the Bills are.
They're up and down. It's weird.
Probably like 27-17 or 20 something like that. But
yeah, I mean if Allen throws 3 picks, which he could do, he could also like throw 2 and run for another 2 touchdowns though. So it's just, you never know.
Yeah.
I know.
He did that last week. He just started throwing the ball to the other team and fumbling and what is he, 6'5", a million pounds, and couldn't get like an inch, and I don't know. But all right.
No.
We digress. 3 left.
Woot.
Packers at the Cowboys in the McCarthy Bowl. I have the Cowboys by 6.5.
I have the Cowboys by 8, giving 8. Yeah.
Okay, I think it's in between. It opened at 7.5, and it is 7.5. It's 7. All right, so you get that one. I haven't been writing down the winners because I've been getting smacked. So you get, let's see. Josh got the first two. I got this third one, and now Josh gets this one. Yep. Okay, so not really a surprise here. Obviously, the Cowboys are the better team playing at home. It's
Great team.
around a touchdown. I like, so McCarthy used to coach the Packers, and now he's playing against his former team. These two teams did not play in the regular season. Part of me, I've said this kind of all year that the Cowboys, like, I just not going to trust them in the playoffs to make a run. I don't know if this is the game where they slip up. I don't know if the Packers have quite enough, but I don't know. I think it would be kind of comical if the Packers won this game, even though obviously the Packers being in the Vikings division, I don't typically root for them, but I don't know. Like, I guess 6.5. I thought it would be a little lower playoff game, and just seems like the Packers, like Jordan Love against a good like he's played pretty well against some good defenses. I just thought this would be a little tighter. They'd go under a touchdown, but they didn't. So, what do you think on this? Who are you picking?
I think the Packers are going to win this game. I think the Cowboys are the way better team. Like, I mean, I was just looking at their record, scrolling through. They scored 40 points 5 times this season. 5 times. 2 other times they scored over 35. They're really good at putting up points. They've been only so against good teams. And McCarthy is not a good in-game coach. Or maybe a better, kinder way to say it, he's very conservative seeming in his philosophy and in his in-game management. And he's the kind of coach, he's like an Eberflus who can get got because they're football guys and they care about football. Like dumb, generic, obvious principles that don't actually translate to what's happening on the field. Because of that, they make dumb decisions. And it just feels like a game where McCarthy's going to McCarthy.
Yeah. So the Packers were pretty bad. Like the first, what were they, like 3-6 or something?
They were like in talks with like the Bears and the Patriots, and it was like a disaster. Like, this guy's getting fired. Oh no, Jordan Love is a bust.
So there always seems to be a team that kind of sneaks into the playoffs and then just plays with nothing to lose. And that just seems like what's going to happen here. And, like I said, McCarthy used to coach the Packers. So if this game's close and like into the second half and McCarthy starts thinking like, am I serious? Like, are we seriously not going to win this game at home or the 2-speed
again?
Like, it just seems like a McCarthy like situation where they start pressing and then it's like the Cowboys lose and they're like, what happened?
Yeah.
Like, again, I do think if the Cowboys lose this game, McCarthy gets fired like when the clock hits 0, like Jerry Jones. I don't know if he knows how to use Twitter or X, but like he's gonna have it ready and he's gonna hit publish.
Dallas Cowboys announced the firing of Mike McCarthy.
Yeah.
I love that. Yes, that's what they did to Arthur Smith. Did you hear that? It went 12:01 on from Sunday to Monday this week, and at 12:01, that's when the Falcons announced that Smith was fired.
Oh, really? Like,
yes.
So 12:01 a.m.
midnight. Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
they did not. Yeah, wait.
Needed to be gone for sure.
Clearly, never. I don't like when he was hired. It was like one of those great hires. He was the Tennessee Titans offensive coordinator. They were doing wonderful things with Ryan Tannehill was a legitimate quarterback where he hadn't been for like a decade.
He still is. Did you see what he did to the Jaguars?
Yeah, well, right. Well, it's like that's, I guess, why Vrabel left, right? Because he wanted to hang on to Tannehill and some of the other things, and I think they wanted to start over.
Oh, really?
That's what I heard. Because why the fire Vrabel? Like he's a top 5 coach.
Yeah. Well, what was their record?
Well,
6-11.
okay, so yes, they have
7
not made the playoffs the past 2 seasons. They've had losing seasons, I think, or barely. I still think he's a really good coach. It would seem like a mistake. Anyway, we were talking about McCarthy, and I don't even know anymore. Oh, firing Arthur Smith. He was a good hire. He was a great hire. Everybody's like, "Oh my God, Arthur Smith, so good." Disaster.
Yeah. So let's just take a minute. So Falcons' job is open. The Titans' job is open.
Yes.
So Pete Carroll's stepping into a different role or something?
Yeah. So he is not leaving the organization, but he's not going to be the head coach. And Belichick's out too. That announcement came today as well.
Belichick's out. Is everyone else still safe so far? What about
Those
Dennis
are the
Allen? There was some grumbling.
Didn't hear about Dennis Allen. That's another one that could be open up. But guess Eberflus is staying. You can talk about that. Oh my God. Yes, everybody else in the division is
the
like
Floofus.
the
We
Floofus.
thought, what was it? About week 5, maybe we were sure he was going to be done ski. But
he still should be Dunsky. But anyway, I guess it was all the offensive coordinator's fault.
Yeah.
So things will be good now.
Okay. Got it. So what, 7-10 next year?
Yeah, I mean that's the Bears thing. They're gonna. I guarantee. I don't care who the quarterback is, right? And especially if it's a new one, they're gonna go 0 and they're gonna start the season the same. They're gonna 0-3, 0-4, and Uberflus is gonna get out there and go, we're trying hard, against principle, defense. I don't know. Ask him a question about offense. What now? Excuse me.
I got someone who takes care of that.
Oh, that's my responsibility as the head coach too, huh?
I just know how to stop the offense.
That's right. About 70-ish% of the time.
All right.
Woo!
So you've won 3. You're guaranteed at least a tie.
Yeah.
We've got Los Rams.
Dose to go.
Going to no, Los Rams. The Rams.
The Ram. Yeah.
ESPN Deportes. Los Rams.
What is Rams in Spanish? I have no idea.
I don't know.
I'm not bilingual, unfortunately.
Okay. Rams at the Lions. Now there's a storyline here. I have the Lions by 1.5.
I have the Lions giving 3. Yeah. I really wanted to pick the Rams here, though.
You
really wanted to
win
pick
the
Rams.
week. I think you nailed it. Yeah, it's 3. There's a 3.5 in there.
This was just me being like, I don't know what to do, so I'm just going to pick the Lions and give them the home team bump, the 3. I really think the Rams are going to win. I just all year, people who know about football have been saying the Lions secondary is crap garbage, and the Rams and Sean McVay have the antidote for crap garbage secondaries. It's like laser focused, amazing passing attack.
I've kind of been like right away. I was like, I think I like the Rams here, but I've kind of been waffling on it. Like the Rams. So Stafford so this is the quarterback swap, right? Like Stafford went from the Lions to the Rams and Goff went from the Rams to the Lions. So that's obviously the huge storyline here. And also Wentz and Goff were in the same draft, and now Wentz is the backup. So I honestly think McVay, like there was a whole, I don't know if this was a rumor, but like there was something about like Goff said something about McVay's wife at one point, and this could have been totally just like didn't happen, but it made it to the media, and like I have this theory or this almost conspiracy theory that like McVay like secretly kind of hates Goff, and he's trying to like do what he can to like piss him off more. But I mean that's kind of silly
gamesmanship.
So I think in a way he wants like Wentz to be resurrected, and so when Stafford retires, he wants Wentz to be better than Goff in some weird roundabout way. But I don't know. I'm kind of making stuff up in my head. Anyway,
there's such a weird relationship there because Goff was a purified bust, right? Like he was the number 1 overall pick. He went to the Rams. This was the ex-Bears guy, whatever his name was. Jeff Fisher was the coach. Drafted him. They were terrible. The Rams sucked. They fired Jeff Fisher. They hire Sean McVay, and immediately that team is good. Like overnight is good. Goff is good. Anything. I mean, McVay resurrected Goff's career, made him viable.
Yeah,
They have a weird dynamic. Whatever the personal tensions are, it's an interesting dynamic they have.
But I would argue that Jeff Fisher was just like pretty bad as a head coach, and like Because like Goff
Yes.
obviously is doing well now too. So
Clearly, I mean, that is absolutely what the conclusion you
Yeah.
would draw. Terrible head coach. It was night and day. Like, it was just by him leaving the building that team got better. And I like Jeff Fisher. Like, he seems like a really nice guy, decent guy. Was a bit, God, did he not? Again, old football mind. Sorry, Jeff Fisher. Old football mind.
yeah. So
Pounding ground. No, not in today's NFL. This is not how the game works anymore. Sorry.
so it almost like I said, I was like, oh yeah, Rams, I think here, just because Stafford's won a Super Bowl, like he knows how to win in the playoffs. Although Goff made a Super Bowl too, so I'm
He
kind of
did.
like, I
Like the
don't
worst Super Bowl ever, but still.
know. So then I don't know, like Laporta. So Laporta
Out.
got hurt. Is he out for sure?
For this week.
Okay, because they said something about he has a chance to play, and I'm like, what? I saw that injury and it didn't look
I
good.
think he's out. So that was
Um,
really dumb. Like what the Lions did last week.
Yeah.
Like,
So quickly on that, like, okay, fine. The Lions had a chance to get the 2 seed, but they needed the Cowboys to lose to the Commanders, and they needed
Yeah.
the Eagles to lose to the Giants. So the chances of both of those things happening plus winning really wasn't that great. Although the Eagles got smashed, the Cowboys were tied with the Commanders at like 10-10. I forget if it was late second quarter or early third quarter.
yeah.
And then obviously the Lions did end up winning. So you could argue, like, yeah, okay, play your starters, but if you really almost have nothing to play for and you play your starters and they get hurt, like in a way, it's sort of like deserved, I think. Like
Not just hurt. Sorry, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, like Laporta, I mean, it looked pretty bad. Obviously, there must not be any structural damage outside of like a sprain, but it sounds like he's out, and like he is a huge weapon. Like things change considerably when you have to cover Johnny Montgomery or whoever their backup is versus Laporta. And then Amon-Ra St. Brown had like an oblique rib thing going on, and then Branch on the defense, who's one of their better corners, gets dinged up, and it's like, dude, you better just start pulling everyone.
Oh man, yeah. It's like Laporta is like the best tight end prospect. He's not a prospect, but like, and at like 5 or 6 years, he's like the next Travis Kelce. And like you don't have him for the first legitimate playoff run your team has had in almost 40 years. Dude, you're flipping people. And that's the problem too. The messaging coming from the team wasn't even about like competitive, like winning. It was like, we just don't want to have the off. So we don't want to have the off week so that we're not sort of like
Rusty.
Yes, like interrupting our flow going into the first playoff game. And I was like, I guess, but why don't you just practice like really well? Why don't you do some other things to keep your mind focused?
Yeah. So I think like the coaches that have been in the playoffs and then have been in these situations where they have the decision to rest people or not, I think you have to go through it once to really understand like your philosophy and how you can carry it out and do it the right way so that you are ready for the playoffs. And I don't think it's the same for every coach, but I think the first time you go through it, you just don't realize like what's best.
Yeah.
And now I think like for Dan Campbell, I think next year he might do it a little bit differently, whatever that is.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things, like it's tough because like there have been situations where really good teams rest everyone and then they just come out flat.
Yeah.
But there's also situations where you rest everyone and you come out ready to play. So like you need to, if you're going to rest guys, you need to understand what it takes to have them get ready and do those things. And like, it's sort of I don't know. It doesn't seem like it should be that hard to do, but I feel like it's harder than someone would think.
The preparation of the season should prepare you for that. If you've done your work, and theoretically, if you're making the playoffs, especially as well as the Lions have, theoretically, you've done that. You should be able to survive that, like that gap of 1 week. Plus, injuries happen, so somebody is from your second string is going to be playing. Give them that experience. Give them that live game experience that they don't get. I mean, I think it just seems such a weird, odd decision to make, given everything, right? The weight of it. It's not like the Lions are in the playoffs every year, you know?
So just real quickly, there's something to watch. So the Browns rested everyone last week.
Yep.
And the Texans were playing for something. So those are opposites.
Yep.
The Chiefs rested everyone, and the Dolphins were sort of playing for something.
Yep.
The Steelers obviously barely snuck in, and the Bills were playing for the 2 seed. So they both were playing for something last week. Cowboys, Packers did not rest anyone. Rams rested guys. Stafford didn't play.
Yep.
And the Lions didn't. And Eagles, Bucks both were playing for something, and they both didn't rest. So, I mean, there's some matchups where you can kind of, I don't know if that ends up mattering or not, but
it'd be fascinating to revisit though next week, just to see like that breakdown, which of the teams were successful and which weren't. My guess is it's probably gonna be 50-50.
You're right, exactly.
Would be my guess.
Because I don't know. You think the Chiefs have been in that situation? They know what they're doing. I don't know about the
playoff. Yeah,
I don't know. So I mean, it's not really giving you any like here's what's going to happen, but it'll be
see how it plays out.
Reevaluate after this week. Okay, we got one left. We got the
game of the week.
Philadelphia Eagles flying down to Tampa.
Is that the Monday game?
Monday night.
Bum, 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 bum.
It's a rematch. The Eagles played in Tampa like week, I don't know, 6 or something like that.
We've got a few rematches actually in the playoffs, don't we? Texans, Browns, Dolphins, Chiefs,
and Eagles, Bucks.
Eagles, Bucks. So half the matchups are rematches.
Half and half.
Yes.
Okay, I have a pick'em.
Oh, I have the Bucks giving 2.5.
Thought I would not get that. So I think the Eagles are favored.
Yeah, by 3.
So I open at Eagles 3 and it's Eagles 3. So I didn't think I was going to get that one when I was off by 3 points, but here's the thing, like Jalen Hurts' finger looks like it was like made to bend the wrong way.
Yep.
Apparently it's only a dislocation.
That's right. Not a break. Yeah.
So soreness and how that affects his throws, it's not broken. I was gonna go like Eagles 3-5 if Hurts was fully healthy.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, his finger was jacked up. They haven't been playing real well. So I'm like
1-5.
Pick
1-5. Yeah. I mean, the Bucks are not a great team. So that's the only reason I went Bucks 2.5 is because of the Hurts injury. I thought for sure, and maybe it still will. It's going to impact him in an overtly negative way.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like it's what can you trust in this game? I mean, maybe the Eagles making a playoff run last year,
which is unusual in and of itself, because the Super Bowl loser recent history has had a terrible successive season, and they don't make the playoffs. The Eagles avoided that for like 3/4 of the season before the wheels fell off, like 5 games left or 6 games left.
So I don't know if the Eagles can kind of rely on like playing well in the playoffs. Last year they've been there recently. The Bucks, I don't know if the Bucks ever made a playoff run under who's their head coach? I can't think of his name right now.
Oh, Todd Bowles, isn't it?
Yeah. So was Bowles the defensive coordinator under
Arians? Yeah,
Arians when they won it. He still was. So
he
was there. And obviously, what was that, 3 years ago when they won? So, I mean, they must have some holdovers from that team, but I don't know how much that matters at this point. So, I mean,
Eagles,
like a lot of people are going to say, well, the Eagles are still the better team. Like, how do you not pick them to at least win this game, even though it's in Tampa? And then I can see the argument for, like, Tampa's played pretty well over the last month. They've had a couple kind of inconsistent moments, but they're at home. The Eagles aren't playing that well. Like, I could also see an argument for the Bucks, to at least cover at home. But
yeah, I mean, the last 2 losses of the season for the Eagles were the Cardinals and the Giants.
Is that good?
No, they lost to those really bad teams. And the Giants are really bad. And the Eagles needed that win. It's not like they were resting people in the last game of the season against the Giants. They needed that win to be to be the 2 seed. I think at that point they had to win.
Yeah, and they needed the Cowboys to lose.
That's right.
But yeah, I mean, they at one point that game was what, like 24-0, and Hurts was hurt or something.
Yeah,
It's like,
it was like it just their last 5 games. So they lost to the Cowboys, they lost to the Niners, they lost to the Cowboys like significantly. 42-19 to the Niners, 33-13 to the Cowboys. Then they beat the Giants by less than a touchdown, and then they lose to the Giants and the Cardinals, and they lose the Giants again. I just feels like this is a team the Bucs can beat, right? Like if you're losing successive weeks to the Cardinals and the Giants, that's not good.
yeah,
That's bad.
yeah. So
That's bad.
I mean, I don't know. Like, hopefully this is competitive. It's a field goal for the Eagles. You know,
I mean, that feels like right if they're
Could-
going to win.
yeah, it could be a good game. We'll see. The
No,
Eagles,
competitive.
you know, when they played the Bucs earlier in the year, they were rolling and they controlled that game, and they ended up winning by, I don't remember, like a
25 to
touchdown,
11.
2 touchdowns. Okay.
Stop, pretty much.
Yeah. So I don't know. No more comments on that game. So obviously there's only 6 games, so this is is going to be a little bit shorter than usual, but I think maybe we'll go through and just kind of give our predictions. And do you want to run through like a playoff scenario? All right. So let's just go through. You can go first and we'll kind of play out the like,
Yeah.
obviously depending on who you pick to win, then it reshuffles the matchups, because like lowest remaining seed is going to play the 1 and on down the line. So be patient with us here as we try to figure this out. But okay, so who do you got just to win the game, Browns or Texans?
All right, I'm gonna go Texans here. I am gonna go the Texans. I think they are gonna win the game.
Okay. How about Dolphins Chiefs?
I'm gonna take the Dolphins.
Okay. Steelers Bills.
Bills.
Packers Cowboys.
I'm gonna go the Cowboys. The Cowboys.
Rams Lions.
Rams.
Eagles Bucks.
I'm gonna go Eagles.
Okay, so then let's figure this out. So who would be the lowest?
It's Ravens Dolphins. Dolphins are the 60.
Dolphins are the wild card. Okay, so all right. So we got Ravens, Dolphins.
Right. I can read.
And then so we'd have Bills, Chiefs.
That's
or no,
right.
you have the Chiefs losing.
Yeah,
Chiefs,
Bills, Texans.
Bills.
No, Texans at Bills.
Switch this around real quick. Okay, that's the AFC.
Yep.
And then we'd have, so if the Rams win, they're the lowest remaining, so they would play Rams at Niners.
Another rematch. Jeez, okay.
And then you'd have
Cowboys,
Eagles at Cowboys.
Oh.
All right, so where are you going there?
Oh,
Dolphins at Ravens.
I'm gonna go Ravens Bills.
Ravens Bills.
Yeah, for the AFC Championship game.
How about Rams Niners?
I'll go Niners Eagles here.
Niners Eagles.
Yeah.
Okay, so then Ravens or Bills?
Ravens.
Niners Eagles.
I'll go Ravens again.
And
Josh
Josh Ravens cutting down the nets.
Yep.
No, they don't do that in football.
They should though. They should just roll out a basketball hoop. Wouldn't that be amazing? In the middle of the Super Bowl, they just roll out a basketball hoop.
They'd need like 13 nets because every team has like 700
And
players.
just give them real small scissors.
Yeah.
And just like a little cut. Everybody gets a little cut.
Like you need a microscope to see your sliver of the net.
A little monocle, whatever they think was jeweler's loop.
All right, so that's Josh's pick. You went through this is hard for me.
I've been thinking about it.
I'm gonna go.
I've been thinking about it.
I don't know. I want to pick the Texans, but I just think the Browns, like Flacco and that defense, I don't think
they're the. I think on paper they're certainly the better team, provided again Flacco plays like late December Flacco.
Yeah, so I'm going Browns over the Texans. I'm going Chiefs over the Dolphins. I think the Steelers will keep it close. I just don't know how they win that game. Yeah. It's going to take a couple turnovers and some really good running, but I'm going to go Packers. I just
love that pick, dude. Love it.
There's
Love that pick.
something there.
Yep.
Man, this is the Rams is one where like my heart is on the Rams and my head is on the Lions. And this usually doesn't work out, but I'm gonna go Rams
Yeah.
and I'll go Bucks.
Oh, dude.
I
Nice.
just think they have a chance.
Yeah.
So that would mean, so if the Browns are a wild card, they would be the only wild card that would win. So it'd be Browns Ravens.
The Browns beat the Ravens at least once this year
And then they beat them in Baltimore with Watson.
It wasn't Flacco. Yeah, it was early in the year.
Well, no, but I think Watson either got hurt or didn't even play that game. They beat him. It was like a fluke, like pick 6 or something. Like they were down by, I don't know, a touchdown with like, they had no business winning that game. It was kind of a fluke win. Anyway, so then we'd have the Bills got the 2, right? So we'd have Chiefs at Bills in the rematch.
Oh, that'd be amazing.
And then we would have, okay, so if the Packers win, the Packers the 7. So Packers at Niners and Rams.
It's the Aaron Rodgers nightmare game.
The Bucks would get another home game if this happened.
Yeah, it's the division winner.
Rams at the what? What's going on here? All right, Ravens, Browns. I just think the Ravens are too good. Man. So this is a stretch just because the Bills are playing better. They'll be at home. They already beat the Chiefs, but
convincingly.
Again, something about me just says like take a shot on Mahomes in the playoffs. Yeah. Maybe they have it figured out. So I'm going Chiefs. And then let's see, Packers, Niners. I mean, the Packers are not beating the Niners. Is McCaffrey? He had that calf thing.
I think
so. He's going to get 2 weeks because he rested last week. I mean, he should be fine. I mean, I don't know. I feel like my calf, when I pull my calf, it heals in 3 weeks. So he's probably got a little bit better genetics than me. So I think he should be fine. Rams at the Bucks. Rams again. Ravens, Chiefs. Can I pull the Chiefs through one more time? Did they play this year?
No, they didn't play the Ravens.
All right. So this is dumb, but I'm going to do it. Chiefs, Niners, and then, and only because, I don't know, a couple months ago, I was saying I think it's going to be Chiefs Niners, and then the Chiefs forgot how to play football for a while and maybe still haven't figured it out. But
the Niners for like 3 games.
But then I'm going to go Niners over the Chiefs. So my bracket could get busted up pretty bad because I feel like I took some chances, but there we have it. It's documented.
Woot.
I have Niners over the Chiefs, and Josh has the Ravens over the Niners, and we have all sorts of
Super Bowl rematches. That's cool.
Yeah. The Harbowl.
The rematch of he may come back. I thought for a hot minute the Bears would do something smart, like try and hire him. But
I think there was something I saw where he was holding up a sign on social media that said
Harbaugh.
He said Jim Harbaugh said just hire Pierce. Like maybe the Raiders were pursuing him.
Maybe.
And maybe he's
every team. He's been linked to every opening. Opening.
Is he staying? Has he said he's staying?
He has said nothing. No, he said not one thing about anything like that matters, right? So there's just everything is just speculation. But because of his pedigree, every opening, like Tepper is supposed to be hot and bothered by him. I think the only opening he hasn't been linked to right now has been the Patriots job.
Huh. All right. So Josh wins the week 4-2. We have our predictions all the way through.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll have to do like the round by round predictions after our playoff brackets get busted next week. So we'll revisit that. We'll do next week. I don't know. You got any parting words? Any like special predictions for this weekend?
Please, Bears, just clean house. Fire everybody. And start winning games. You've been losing for far, far too long. Yeah. Not enough playoff victories, not enough playoff appearances, not enough winning seasons, not enough anything good about football over the last 20 years.
Yeah.
So just fire everybody and start over.
I saw that something. I didn't expect this to happen, but I saw that Cousins is like willing to take less money to stay in Minnesota.
I heard that he really wants to. I have a feeling he's getting the sense that nobody else wants to put money in front of him.
Yeah, and because
he's in his mid-30s too, right?
Fine with that. Like, I always, I had been saying like he's going to demand too much money for his age and the injury he just had, and I just don't know if it's going to be worth it. But if he's going to take less money, like they don't have anything else in the pipeline. Obviously,
they're a playoff team if he's doesn't get hurt, right? Like I think he's at least in this Packers spot probably.
Well, you'd think so, but
I do think
so. The Packers made the playoffs, and they
9-8
are on the up and up. The Lions are good and don't seem like they're going to get worse anytime soon. Although there's always a regression team, few, and the Bears, the way they played the last 6 weeks, are trending the right way too. But they need to.
No, they were 7-10. The McCaskies want to point at, hey, we were 4 of 5 as proof that this is a good football team. They want you to ignore all of the dumb losses. Don't ignore the dumb losses. This is a shitty football team, and it's going to be a shitty football team for the next few years because they're not going to make smart, intelligent, data-driven decisions.
There you have it. All right. I think that's a wrap. And we can't say go Bears and go Vikings unless we're talking about like the draft or like free agent signings. So
the Bears have the most exciting draft potential of the last 5 or 6 years. I can't wait to see how they fuck it up. It's going to be really intriguing to see how they do that.
Yeah. All right. Get your popcorn ready for the weekend. I think you're going to see the Steelers, Packers, or Bucks. I think one of those teams wins. If not, well, let's not get crazy. But you could see, I made the case for every game being competitive. There's at least a way for it to be competitive. So hopefully they are. Hopefully we see some crazy stuff. Maybe another 75-yard touchdown on the first play of one of these games. And no matter what happens, it'll be an interesting weekend of football. And we'll see you in a week.